So now I'm going to talk about a little bit advanced algorithms. Okay. Again, so this will be public, and I will use the array here again. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this one here, and as before, so I'll copy this one to the advanced. Right, we'll randomly generate and grade of 10. So this is again, we create the array of integers, and we will generate, the random number, assign random number to it, because that make it more interesting. And we can print them out to see which one we generated. Okay. And now we'll do a little bit different things here. So what we will do is, and we will see several things, right? And we'll say how to pass array to methods. Okay. So what we are doing here is we will create a public static method. Okay, and now we will return the integer index, and we'll say if you give me an integer array, any array A, and give me a value. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to see if you can find, let's just say we randomly generate a grade. So the question is any one, let's just say if anyone earn a perfect grade of 100. So if I want to see if anyone in the class actually have a perfect grade of 100. Okay, so and then say if yes, then print, we'll say print the first one that earned 100. Okay, so now instead of writing the code in the main, and because we think this is very useful, this is a search. Okay, so this is what we call the search algorithm. Right, it's very popular. It's giving a bunch of data, and we want to search for some element to see, if that element is in the data. So this is very popular, and therefore we want to have an independent method so that this can be used again and again and again, right? So how are we going to do that? And normally the search is we will gives you return you the index, the first index, and that we found in the array that matches the value. Okay, so how we do that, it's pretty straightforward too. So we'll have an integer variable. Initially, we'll set it to -1. Okay, so the end will return index. Okay, so we will return the index, right? And then let's just search for it. Again, we need to loop over each one of them, and we'll say for integer from I from 0, and then I is less than the array length, okay, and I plus plus. Now I'm just using A because this A, and we'll tell you later, right? It could be an integer variable like a grade. It could be anything, okay? So it just the I just using A and to indicate as an array. So we're doing those traversal, array traversal, right? It's from the first one until the last one. And so what we do here is we check. We'll say if the element is the same as the value, right? If we found it, then what we do? And then we'll set the index equals that I, and we'll break. So the break here is we'll break the loop. Okay, so instead of going back to the for loop again, we get out the loop. So the break, we can use the break here, okay, to get out. All right, and this is it. It's pretty simple here. But if we loop everything over, we couldn't find any. Guess what? The index initially is a -1. So if the index is showing -1, that means we didn't find any. Okay? So back in here in the main, we can call this, we can use those, right? And we'll say integer. Okay, we'll give we'll say found equal to and index of, and then we'll pass the grades, we'll pass the array, and let's just say we want to search if anyone has 100, and then we can print out. And print out the found. So we'll say this one here is found at index. So this is an index, okay? So we'll print this out. Okay. Well, actually, we shouldn't. We'll say if the found is greater than or equal to 0, right? And then you say this is a found, right? Otherwise, and we'll print system.print is not found. Okay, so if this is greater than or equal to 0, and then we know we found at least one student that earned perfect score. Otherwise, we'll say this grade is not found, and so nobody really earning 100 points. Okay, so this is the search. This is the search algorithm. It's very, very useful and important algorithm, and also very basic. And now you can see that, and I am actually also splitting the things out, and because they are very useful, so I am create a static method, and they call the index of. Okay, so I can use them again and again. So now let's run this one, see what happened. All right, look here, and this is the set of the grade that's being generated for the class, right? And you can see that we don't have a perfect score for this class, so they will say, hey, this one is not found, right? If we run again, well, this seems to be lower. Oh, not really. We have 97, so still not found. And if I run again, still not found. Let's run again. Still not. So we'll run enough, and hopefully we get one. Okay, here we go. All right, so you can see it says 100 grade is found at index 9 here. The index 9 is the last one, so that's why it's here. Okay, so you can see how this goes, and sometimes they didn't find it, right? It's not found. When they found it, and they will tell you where you found it. It's the first one, okay? It's you may have a multiple 100 here, but this will return you the first index that they found the perfect score.